Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about what are the functions of a social media manager. There are 5 main things that I want to point out, but I want to alert you that the last one might be the reason why you're not being totally successful in your business. My name is Leticia Vicotti, and over the years with social media management, I have seen people being responsible for many different aspects of the business, but what truly is the role of a social media manager? The first thing that I want to talk to you about is creating a social media strategy. If you decide to take on different parts of the business, such as copywriting, graphic designing, video editing, or whatever it may be, that's okay, but know that is a little bit outside of the scope. What a true social media manager cannot lack on is strategy. And why do we need to know strategy? Because every single client is different. They're going to have different personas, they're going to have different audiences that they want to reach, and each platform will also have their unique strategy. This week, I was closing a deal with a client and they didn't really understand why we are charging a little bit more when the content is the same, because we need to adapt to each platform to optimize for the platform's algorithm. Depending on the platform, there are going to be different kind of people hanging out there, and also the different algorithms that we need to take into consideration when putting this strategy together. So for example, on Facebook, perhaps the people are going to be a little bit older compared to TikTok. So we need to see what kind of content do we need to put in these platforms in order to really reach the goal that the client is trying to reach. These strategies are not something that you can just copy and paste, but there are principles that you can follow in order to create each strategy. For example, in the strategy, you need to have the DNA of the content, you need to have the objectives of the content, the editorial line, the personas, what kind of platforms are you supposed to be present in order to reach that client's goal. The second thing that a social media manager does and is responsible for is creating content. This might sound a little obvious for you, but what I want to point out here is that you are responsible to creating content for different types of content. So videos, captions, static posts, carousel posts, whatever it may be. Now, take into consideration, because this is one of the reasons why I say that you need to niche down into your business. Because let's say you absolutely do not like cars, you're not into this kind of category, and you take on a car shop or a mechanic, right, as your client. But you don't know anything about this, you don't enjoy this topic, and this might be something that is not going to come as easy for you to write the content. There's going to be a lot of research that you're going to have to do, and it might feel, even with the research, a little bit of a burden. So if you're a woman, for example, it may be easier for you to pick a niche that you're comfortable and you have experience with. Maybe it is beauty, maybe it's fashion, maybe it's motherhood, whatever it may be. Maybe there is, you would like to work with coaches because it is personal development is something that it's of an interest for you. Whatever it may be, take into consideration so this work doesn't become heavy for you. There's a video where I talk about which niches are the most profitable for a social media manager to work in. So make sure to check it out. The third point is scheduling and managing content. Well, yes, it sounds a little obvious, a little bit like the previous point. But if you're starting out, I want you to know that there are both free as well as paid tools that can help ease this process of scheduling and managing the content for the client. Especially if you have multiple clients, it can become a hassle, right? Some paid tools include Loomly, Hootsuite, MLabs, Social Sprouts. There are so many out there, and they're all really easy to use. But there is something that I want to advise you, and I'm gonna tell you in the next point. However, if you are enjoying this content, I'm gonna ask you to help me out right now. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you will get notified every week when there is new content in this channel. Hit the like button as well as comment below anything that you would like to hear from me, any doubts you may have, so we can do more videos on your questions. The fourth thing is so important and a lot of people are not doing still, which is analyze the metrics and the insights of these platforms. This is one of my favorite parts because I have a background in analysis, but so many people are not reaching the client's goals because they're not doing this step. Here, you're going to analyze where the customer is in the journey, right? So what is working, what is not working, what needs to be adjusted in the strategy in order to actually reach the goal. Remember the paid tools that I spoke to you in the previous point? Well, they have a lot of data that they provide, sometimes even more than the actual platforms. But there is something that I have noticed, and I think it is so important for all of us to be in the lookout for, which is because they're gathering this data from a third party, which is they are actually the third party and they're capturing this data from the platforms. Sometimes there is a mismatch. What do I mean? Basically, what I have seen when I pull data from these sources and then I look at the original source, which is the platform itself, the data were not the same. So I contacted two websites that I was using, which I'm not gonna mention the names, and they basically told me that the engineers were going to look into it. But after having these two experiences, what I figured out is that I need to rely more on the platforms, even if the data there is a little bit more limited, and also because the paid tools, they facilitate so much because some of them even have like automatic reports, but if the data is not right, it doesn't make sense. Last but certainly not least is the fifth point, and this is why maybe your clients do not see you as a professional and they do not value you and stay with you for a longer period of time, which is report generating and meeting with the client in a monthly basis. Yes, we have done the analysis and looked at the insights in the previous point, but what I have seen in the years of experience that I have is that the client who's not willing to meet with you at least in a monthly basis, they're not committed to the process. They're not going to see what is going on in the background. Where are we in comparison to where we started? And they're not going to see the reason why they should keep paying you to create this strategy and something like that. They maybe think that you're just creating some random posts. They do not see actually what is the journey that we're walking in. And this can be frustrating for everyone, both the social media manager as well as the client. So my advice is you're going to collect all that analysis that you have done. You're going to put into a PDF file where you can customize it to your branding, make it look very neat as well as comprehensive. And then you're going to schedule a Zoom meeting with them in order to go over this analytics. You're going to present in this meeting where you guys were in the beginning of the month comparing to the end of the month. You're going to sit down with them and say, this worked, this didn't work, and these are my recommendations and next steps for us to continue to grow. This also serves as a self-validating thing, because they're going to see that you did not just sit around during this month, right? What is the work that you actually have done throughout the month to hit the KPIs that you guys have established in the beginning of your work together? You are basically translating all the monthly work that was done to them in a way that they actually understand. Maybe there's a lot of things going in your mind right now saying, wow, I have done X, Y, and Z that was not really in the scope of a social media manager's role. But don't worry, I have also created a video where I explain what are the things that's not the responsibility of a social media manager. Just click on the card above to watch it later. I want to share with you that I have prepared a special ebook for you who is either starting out or is ready to scale your business as a social media manager. It is called the 10 ways to make more money as a social media manager. The link to it is in the description below of this video, as well as pinned in the comments. I am so sure that using this ebook is going to open your horizons and show you more ways that you can monetize as a social media manager. The second message I want to give you is that in the beginning, when I started in this world, even though I had marketing experience, there were a lot of doubts that I had. So I started searching a lot in the internet to see if there were people that can actually showed me what their day would look like as a social media manager. What would everything that the job entailed? And I only found one lady that I think she didn't pursue social media management later. And so I had to continue to research a lot and had to pay a lot of money afterwards for a very private mentorship that I did. And so I do not want you to have to go through the same process that I had to go through. Actually, it was such a hard process that I even had a partner and then we split ways because the results were taking a long time to actually reach. So with that in mind, I built a one-on-one consulting call with me where we are going to open your doubts, open your books, and discuss what are the best ways to actually fix things in your business. We may talk about what are the best ways for you to prospect, how can you improve in your sales process, or why is your conversion rate not that great. And we are going to be talking about specific things for you, not just, some generalized tips like we're doing now. If you want to have a one-on-one with me, there is a link in the description of this video where you can click to apply to join. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and most of all, I hope it was helpful for you to grow and continue growing your business. Do not forget that every single week there is a new video in this channel with new tips for you. So I'll see you next time.